Now, I think it would be interesting to actually do a video about the next looming conflict. Of course, that was very hyperbolic and sensational, but of course, with the U.S. empire being prevalent on war, it only makes sense that a next one is coming. So in this video, we are going to try to tell you which one we think it is from our research and, of course, analysis. And, of course, a lot of interesting things are happening, especially in American foreign policy with Iran, with Afghanistan, with Syria, with Libya, with Russia, with Turkey, which, of course, we're all going to get into also in this video. Because, you know, foreign policy, what is happening outside of the United States is actually very important. And it doesn't play into the whole divide and conquer race identity politics that tries to sow division amongst people's races, genders, creeds, religions, and other personal beliefs. Sorry, this video is not going to feed into that. So yeah, we're going to talk about all those countries and a lot more. But before we start, just check out our t-shirt store, teesprings.com/stores. Put some clothes on. It's getting cold somewhere. It's getting warm somewhere. Depends where you live, but your purchase here supports us as a independent media organization, and without you, we wouldn't exist. So again, check out our Teespring stores, and thank you everyone who allows us to be free and independent, unlike all those other corporate horse shills that just statist and Moving on with this specific video. To answer the question that I raised in the beginning of this video, it is Iran. It's most definitely Iran, which the United States decided to officially designate their army as a terrorist organization, according to our President Donald Trump. And this is one of the first times ever that the United States has formally branded another country's military as a, quote, terrorist group. This is the first time ever. It's unprecedented. Iran, not wanting to be outdone here, decided, hey, if you're going to do it, we're going to do it too. And shortly after the United States and Donald Trump designated their army terrorist, Iran said, you know what? No. You guys are terrorists. I know you are a terrorist, but what am I? And if you're just being ridiculous to show how other people are being ridiculous, I mean, there's a point to be made here, of course. Obviously, all of this is raising a lot of tensions in the Middle East, especially in countries like Syria, Lebanon, and of course, Yemen as well. Now, this tit-for-tat breakdown of diplomacy actually also involves Israel, which the Iranian foreign minister said and alluded that this move done by the United States was done to supposedly secure the re-election of Israel's Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, saying, quote, another misguided election Eve gift to Netanyahu and the dangerous U.S. misadventure in the region. And of course, President Donald Trump was even officially thanked by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who's running up for re-election, saying that U.S. President Donald Trump is keeping the world safe from Iran's aggression and terrorism. And it's important to highlight here that the Iranian Revolutionary Guard is mainly a Shia military that goes and fights up against Sunnis, does not like Israel, and has also previously fought ISIS, specifically also in Syria, backing, of course, President Bashar al-Assad, that the United States, that Israel wanted to overthrow, with supporting the rebels, and again, the rebels included ISIS. So the two have been finding each other on the opposite side, but this is an important fact to mention because you're most likely not going to hear this fact on the mainstream media because it's a very inconvenient fact in this entire situation, especially when you look at the bigger picture and how just this doesn't benefit the United States at all. This doesn't make America great at all. This does benefit the major countries that are going against Iran, and that, of course, is Israel and Saudi Arabia. This is also specifically interesting because it is also on the eve that will decide the future of Israeli politics. And, of course, recently we have seen an emboldened Prime Minister Netanyahu and also an emboldened support of him by our President Donald Trump, which is important to note here because a lot of these bold, bigger actions by these individuals are made, of course, to secure a political victory, which is on the line here and looks like it is being very highly contested, with him, of course, facing major corruption charges as the current prime minister. Now, moving forward, keeping this video in the same direction, in the same topics of keeping the world safe, as Netanyahu just alluded to, as he and Saudi Arabia are going to be the biggest victor here, we also have the latest news coming from Yemen, where the United States, along with our allies, are involved with Saudi Arabia in that bloody civil war, which again is just another proxy war of Iran and some of their supporters versus, of course, Sunni groups in that region that are backed by the U.S. coalition. Some of them, even Al-Qaeda, which even the Associated Press documented the United States, along with the coalition, supporting, paying off, giving safe haven to, and working with, of course, to defeat the Houthi rebels, which some of them are connected to Iran. And in that region, we're just getting news right now that a Saudi-led airstrike, which could have been involved with a number of countries, could have been even the United States, has killed at least 13 more children. And again, we've been hearing horror stories like this time and time again. And again, mostly from alternative press, mostly from press outside of Western mainstream media influence. And this is yet another tragedy that, of course, highlights the bigger proxy war, which I am saying will lead to the next big conflict, Iran. Everything here points to Iran. Everything here leads to the clash of civilizations between the Sunnis and Shiites. This is something in the works with, of course, Israel and the United States working a part of the Sunnis, and that's why Israel and the United States have been supporting the rebel groups, which are mainly Sunnis, that have been, let's just say it here, bad apples, have been al-Nusra, have been Al-Qaeda, have been ISIS. Those are predominantly Sunni groups that, of course, have the backing during this bigger clash, during this bigger conflict that is only escalating now, and I believe will escalate to the next big war, because the U.S. empire, again, runs on military power. You have a hammer, everything starts looking like a nail. Iran. Oh, that's a big nail down there. What is the United States, the big hammer, going to do? Well, to, of course, not only secure its economic interest, but also secure its petrodollar interest, of course, will continue in the same trajectory that it has before. And to think that Donald Trump is different would be naive, in my opinion, specifically because, as his foreign policy has dictated before, he takes, again, one step forward, two steps back, and is continuing overall the larger kind of military push around the world, not only expanding AFRICOM, but also expanding operations, when at the same time he tells you, no, we're going to get the troops home. And the record speaks for itself. He hasn't, and he's not, and he's only escalating tensions more in the Middle East, in Syria, in Iran, and this is going to lead to a major conflict, especially in the Golan Heights region, which I didn't even have to get into. And all of this is happening. The crazy Saudi Arabians, meanwhile, that just maimed countless numbers of children with the United States, creating the worst humanitarian crisis in the world. The worst humanitarian crisis in the world right now is being caused by a U.S. Saudi Arabian coalition. And the United States and Donald Trump, as we covered, as we've been talking about for a while, we detailed how rumors were speculating about this with Michael Flynn, but the United States is pushing for Saudi Arabia to have nuclear power. Nuclear power leads to, of course, nuclear weapons, which the United States is pushing with Donald Trump and Jared Kushner, that negotiates better deals for Saudi Arabia to, of course, classify and give nuclear technology to the Saudis. This is the major escalation, and it looks like Saudi Arabia, it's almost complete here to build their first nuclear reactor. This, of course, with Saudi Arabia having that huge potential, while, of course, Iran is being denied that power and potential through many different avenues and ways. And even them doing that, the United States and Israel sees that as a provocation. But don't worry about the maimed children. Saudi Arabia just threw a little bit of money, literally. It's like a gangster just came up and shot somebody and paid off the family, just threw a $200 bills on there saying, yeah, don't worry about it. It's fine. This, of course, is getting coverage. Saudi Arabia, UAE give Yemen $200 million in aid for Ramadan. I mean, come on. Really? Like, it's absolutely ridiculous what they're doing to the country. And just to throw some money their way after destroying and maiming countless numbers of children here, worst humanitarian crisis in the world here, is just absolute disgrace, just trying to buy, of course, good PR. Because everything here is related to information. Everything here is related to news. There's even a resolution right now, which again, not talked about, should be talked about, a very important resolution that, of course, would stop the United States from supporting Saudi Arabia in the war against Yemen. This bill passed in the House, passed in the Senate, and now is at Donald Trump's desk, and all Donald Trump has to do is give his little John Hancock here with his little Sharpie marker, and a lot of people are expecting him to veto it. Because, again, it's the common sense thing to do. The MAGA people, the Republicans, the right-wing people, all you red hat wearing people, hey, this is a serious issue. This is an issue that's going to determine the future faith of humanity, especially with Saudi Arabia being emboldened by Donald Trump with potentially here nuclear weapons. This is going to change the forefront here. And if the United States could back off, this would be huge. But this, of course, will also have other implications that we could talk about on very many different lengths. There's a lot more involved here, including the petrodollar, which allegedly, to some sources, Saudi Arabia even threatened to cut if the United States moved against it in OPEC. But Saudi Arabia, of course, is denying that. A lot of this has to do with the U.S. being the world reserve currency, being traded on oil, Saudi Arabia recognizing that, with also competing interest with Russia and China trying to move in with Saudi Arabia. That's another aspect here that, holy cow, I could just talk about for a while. But overall here, what the United States is doing with its hammer abilities is not prosperous to itself. Obviously, you look at the debt that we're in because of this. There's no way to prosper from this. There's no way to move forward from this. We are indebted, and the only thing sustaining this system to some psychopathic lunatics is war. And that's why we're seeing constant ramping up of war and celebration of it. Like we saw the celebration of NATO recently, reaching, of course, its 70-year anniversary. NATO, by the way, with the United States, that bombed the crap out of Libya, created a civil war that has been raging on since, created human slavery. The civil war is raging on to the point where even U.S. troops are now leaving Libya, as, of course, rival factions, rival governments are at each other's throats, while, of course, we're still in Afghanistan for some reason. I don't know why the absolute crap the United States is even involved in that conflict anymore. I don't think anyone even knows. There's been people who are literally fighting this war that were never born before this war even started, where, of course, just moments ago, 3 Americans just died, including 1 U.S. contractor, most likely probably Intel related. But 4 Americans dead right now, not going to be with their families because of this stupid, asinine reason that absolutely makes no sense geopolitically, strategically, and is just absolutely stupid. And, of course, Turkey also on the crosswinds between China, Russia, and the United States, just like, Saudi Arabia is trying to be pushed in that region as well. That's a whole larger, complicated geopolitical picture that I could probably get into. But you guys let me know what you think of these videos, because foreign policy is a topic that I'm seeing a lot less responses from, a lot less people actually wanting to know what's happening outside of the United States. They love the click tits, the hate bait. They love the attack the white man. Look at that tranny over there. Look at this crazy clown person over there. They love that conversation. But if you really want more videos breaking down what is happening outside of the United States, you guys need to incentivize it. You guys need to share it. You guys need to leave a like, a comment, and let me know that, hey, this is content that you want to see, and then this is content that is more important to you than the culture war stuff that is also happening out there. Of course, we're covering both of those, but this to me is far more significant than some robot wannabe clown tranny hating someone. The opinion of some stupid people is stupid. But also another important aspect of culture. So we're doing a lot of different content. We're expanding all of it. You guys ultimately incentivize it. Of course, this is going to be on the main channel. We are doing 4 videos a day now and have been for almost a month now. So don't forget to check out the backup channel, which, of course, if you go to our main page, is located right here, Pulse Change. We still have, Jason, we got to change this, whatever. Stay tuned for more as we're building up our main channel and our backup channel. Always appreciate you guys. Check out the store. Check out the t-shirt store. Keep us free and independent. Love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on WeAreChange.org.